Hi, I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community. I've been a trader and technical analyst for the last 8 years. Let's take a look at what happened today in the market. We'll look at crypto indices and some stocks that were movers and shakers. Overall, the semis got rinsed today, absolutely rinsed. They had terrible performance. Let's look at it. We look at the heat map. Look at the semis, -4%, -3%, -2%. They were bright red, and they were the reddest on the heat map compared to everyone else. When semis are leading to the downside, I do not go long the market, generally speaking. If semis are leading the way up, I don't go short the market. Semis are the fuel to the market's engine. So just understand when semis are going in a strong direction or strong trend day, it's really not usually productive to fight that trend. So let's look at economic events tomorrow. They're all 2-star, no big events for tomorrow. Now, next Wednesday, we have FOMC interest rate decision. So remember that if you're buying options and you're buying for next week, the premium's probably juiced because of the volatility they anticipate. All right, how do you know you have a trend day? We had a trend day down. Looking at SPY, we closed up a little bit off the bottom, but today, for most of the day, this said 0%, 0%. This is just a tool one of our members made to show the major sectors and how far they are off the low of day. So when you have all sectors at the low of day, that is a hard trend to fight. So let's look at SPY on the 5-minute today. We had a nice bounce at the end. We had a 5 billion imbalance to the buy side, and that really helped with this pop up, but we still were unable to make a 15-minute higher high. And we were just in a downtrend all day. Apple got some AI news here. They bought a company out of Canada, and their senior staff from the AI company are already on Apple staff, and that was announced midday, and Apple bounced and the market bounced, but then it promptly gave it all back. So we had a good ending to the day, but if you look at it, it was about a 25-minute bounce, and we really didn't make a lot of headway. We basically just reclaimed yesterday's low. So a trend day down in SPY, a trend day down in QQQ. All right, let's look at market internals. I don't cover this usually on the video. Let's look at tick. This is the 5-minute chart. So I call this the tick trick. If the 8 EMA, so let me make this go away. It didn't go away. There it is. If the 8 EMA is trending over the 0 line, that is a bullish day, and typically a bullish trend day. If the tick EMA is either the 12 or the 8, whichever suits your fancy, if it's trending below the 0 line, that is a bearish day. If we have multiple sustained ticks below 600, which we did today, look at how many we had sustained. That is a trend day down. Looking over here, I need to add those candles back. ADD, we were in a 5-minute downtrend all day long, and below -1500 is usually a bearish trend day. So all sectors at low of day. The 5-minute 8 EMA or 12 EMA is it trending below the 0 line or above the 0 line. That tells you if it's a trend day. And then ADD, if it's making consecutive lower highs, lower lows, that's a trend day down. So lots of data I just threw in there. I realized that, but it's just some things to think about. The earlier you can identify that it's a trend day, the better off you are not fighting the trend. So what happened today? Not a lot. We closed almost flat here. We were down 0.26%, actually 0.20 at the time of close. We had a very wide range. We did a peak above and fell, meaning we looked above yesterday's high and we failed, and then we came down. We have a very wide range, so we have an outside bar. When I see a candle like this, I know tomorrow to watch for a potential daily inside bar, because we don't get large ranges like this. And typically the next day after a large range day can be an inside day. Of course, I'm not predicting and we have no idea what's going to happen. I just want you to go into tomorrow thinking if we open up in the middle of the prior day range, in this case today's range, if we open up in the middle tomorrow morning, that increases the probability of an inside day. So we're still in a daily uptrend. We haven't lost the 12 EMA. The bears have not done major damage to ES. NASDAQ, we ended with a double bottom on the daily. We have an equilibrium. They have not done major damage. RTY, they have done major damage. We are in a daily downtrend on the Russell. YM had a very large range today, and it's looking fine. It closed red, no major issues. We double top with the prior day high, and then we rejected and came down, but we're holding the lows just fine. So today was a warning sign, a shot across the bow, if you will, from the bears when all sectors were at the low of day together. And the fact that semis took a big leg down is also a little concerning for bulls. Overall, on larger picture time frames, they haven't done anything or broke the structure, but it is a warning sign. Looking at VIX, VIX is rejecting from the daily 200 MA. We saw it do it last week, 4 days in a row. And then it did it on this past Tuesday, and then again today. Ran into that daily 200 MA and rejected. Because the most likely scenario is a 4-hour lower high, which is good for the market. And that's what happened. It formed with a big upper wick. Bitcoin's having a weak day. So we did not get 4-hour oversold yet. And we have a lot of bulls, I would assume, are waiting for 4-hour oversold for a potential buy and flip. So we have pulled back enough now that we're looking for a 4-hour lower high on the next bounce. So bears are positioned well for bounce to short bounces. Of course, always use stops. You don't know what will actually work. But with the size of this pullback, odds favor a lower high. Coin is still heavy. Remember, they had the $1 billion offering, and they broke the low of day promptly at open and stayed below the low of day. I mean, it was just a bear fest. Talk about a sector cleansing. This was a sector cleansing. MSTR, they broke the low of the prior day and then quickly reclaimed it. They were weak today, down 5%, but when you look at it compared to yesterday's price action, it wasn't all that bad. Mara was very weak. They've had a lot of offerings. They closed with a tiny bounce at the end, but still down 7%. Riot was very weak today as well. So you add the market being weak with Bitcoin being weak, and that really is a double whammy for those crypto miners. Looking at the dollar, it was strong today. That daily bear flag that I talked about yesterday is now negated, but we're still looking for a daily lower high. Odds favor a daily lower high here with the dollar. All right. So banks, they did a peak above and fail. So they looked above the prior day's high and then achieved a new all-time high and then promptly gave it all back and then some. So they led the way to the downside along with healthcare. Healthcare did not look above the prior day high. They weren't that strong, but they just quickly gave up the ghost at the beginning of the day and then trended down the majority of the day. Gold got a little bounce toward the end of the day. They're fighting an uphill battle with the dollar strength that's affecting gold. This still could be a daily bull flag, so watch out for that. Gold bears. GDX, I was watching it fight at the end of the day, attempting to hold the prior day low. So the prior day low was 29.73. This little indicator marks the high, low, and closing price of the prior day. And so it's easy for me to eyeball that held there and it held here. So we have a daily double bottom now on GDX. And they don't have a clean daily bull flag like gold does. Oil had a wonderful day. We're continuing to chug upwards, but odds favor a monthly lower high with the size of this pullback. It was, what is that, $27? The size of that pullback, it favors a monthly lower high, but bulls are showing no sign of slowing at this point. We are getting some upper wicks, a tweezer top right here on the 4-hour, but no big red flags. Apple Apple was strong this morning, and then they totally weakened compared to the market. The market was bouncing in this area, and Apple wasn't bouncing. And then the AI news came out of their purchase. They bounced, they beat the high of the news reaction, and then promptly gave it all back. Then double bottom with this level, and then got a little bounce going. Apple was definitely an exception to the rule today. It was strong majority of the day. Adobe has earnings right now. What are they doing? Okay, they're down 9%. So Adobe will be on watch tomorrow for a name in play. I would anticipate some major volume. Affirm was my queen of the mountain trade this morning. We have this weekly bear flag. And we had these tops. It's like a megaphone. We had higher highs and lower lows without follow through. Well, this wasn't a lower low. However, it had the makings of looking for that lower high compared to yesterday's high. And it was my queen of the mountain this morning. Affirm daily megaphone top fish setup, daily 50 MA overhead. I really pay respect to these daily 50 MAs and 200 MAs. And look at that rejection. Major downside. Down almost 14% today. So tomorrow you can keep this on your watch list for reverse back burners, meaning looking for 5 and 15 minute overbought conditions to potentially short. Google had a strong day. They were also the exception to the rule. If we go look at this heat map again, you'll see the big names were green. And it was just enough to not let the market completely roll over with these big names that were green and everything else was red. They were what was holding up the market from complete collapse. So Google had a great day. But I was watching this, the daily 50 MA is overhead and bulls were unable to close over it. So I'll be watching this tomorrow. Did we get that gap fill? No, we didn't get the gap fill. No, wait, we did. We did fill that gap right there. So now I would be looking for a short against 145 tomorrow on Google. That'll be on my watch list. Doesn't mean I'll take it. I'll just be looking for the setup tomorrow. If it sets up, great. If it doesn't, great. Microsoft, new all-time high. Beautiful day. Tesla, more analyst downgrades. And at the beginning of the day, I'm telling you, I love these signals. Right here, we had we tried to reclaim the prior day low and rejected, and then we just looked downward the rest of the day. It was very, very weak. Tesla, nothing changes until something changes. Nothing's changing. So buying the dip here just because it's oversold, I mean, you need to wait until you have some friends with you on the trade or in the trade. Semis were weak today. They lost the daily uptrend. AMD closed very weak today. The AI news for Apple it was impacting AMD more than the other semis. AMD really went to the downside when that Apple news came out. ARM had a decent day considering that other semis were so weak. Nvidia was weak today. We tested the prior day low and rejected at the end of the day, but it's weak. If we go look at the daily, we have not lost support on the daily, so it's still holding for Nvidia. SMCI has not lost daily support. It's still holding, but SMCI had a very weak day. Super weak. Rejected at the prior day closing price and then just trended down the rest of the day. MNMD, it bounced from the prior day low. I would call this a double bottom, 791 and 794. And we're still holding the daily uptrend, so we'll see if 756 can hold tomorrow. MSOS, potential daily bear flag. They had a decent close toward the end of the day, but very weak at the beginning of the day. Again, a potential daily bear flag. TCNNF. We have a daily EQ. So it closed green and we have a daily equilibrium. I'm going to be watching this one tomorrow as well. So I think that's all I had for you. I've been trying to hide my face this week because I have a black eye right here that you can see. You should see the other guy. No, I'm kidding. It was just amateur night on the pole. All right, y'all have a great day.